Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You know, today I was thinking, I'm not going to do a long introduction. But you know what? I can't help myself.
Come on, bro. No.
I can't help myself.
No.
My guest today does not need an introduction. It's my brother, Gabriel Romaani. Welcome, ya akhi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Before we start, it's not really an introduction. I want to prerequisite the question. I can never say that word, bro. Prerequisite?
Preface.
Preface the subject, right? Now we're living in difficult times as Muslims, I would say. You know, I want to be specific. We're living in difficult times as Muslims for many, many reasons. Now, the subject for today's podcast is, I would say, a internal reason within the ummah, a domestic reason. It's how we live in our households, how we conduct ourselves. I feel like we are being tormented. For the lack of sounding a bit dramatic, we're being tortured. Now, how do you torture a house, Yani? You torture the women. Oh, sorry, the women torture the men. So if you can get the women to torture the men, then the household has broken down. Yani, the subject today, there is none other than Gabriel Romaani for us to take us there. Polygyny. How do I say it, akhi? Polygyny. Now, Bismillah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Okay. Bismillah. Let's go. Now, polygyny. Let me ask you the question. Why do you think it exists, polygyny?
All right. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu. I would like to add, first of all, akhi, that this is not only a Muslim internal issue. This is an issue of the world. You know, men and women have been created differently. Whatever background you come from, whatever you are, in the end, in this world, as much as the world's trying to push for different things, you got men and women. That's it. Okay. 100 years from now, if we, take out someone from a grave, or today, if we go and take off someone from a grave and you check their DNA, you can tell, is this a man, is this a woman? 100%. Right? And it's so clear and evident. Yes, there's many things that are similar, 100%. But when it comes to our nature, and specifically to this subject, the subject of sexuality and the way it's expressed, we are extremely, extremely different. Men, it's built in their DNA. It's built in our nature to one variety. It's just the way, you can't help it. It's in your nature. Look at a man, the way God created him. Just the production of sperm that a man produces every single day shows that he basically can spread that and populate that. You could, as a man, you could basically populate a village, bro, within a couple of weeks. Now, I'm not saying that people should do that, but there's certain indications within the creation, the nature, the biology of a man that show very clearly that he is that way. And what happens is you cannot help yourself when you are a certain way. Just like a fish cannot help itself to be a fish. You cannot put a fish in the sand. Therefore, a man cannot help but to be a man. Now, of course, to a lot of people, like, what is this animalistic discussion? What is this? This is so wrong and whatnot. We're talking here about biology. We're talking here what we say in Islam as fitra. And these signs are important to understand because whenever we deviate from the way we were created, we cannot function properly. Okay? If you are not within your environment, within the niche, within the habitat that you were created for, you cannot function at the optimal level that you're supposed to do. Okay?
Yeah.
So when a boxer right now, there was a big boxing match, right? If the guy doesn't train every day, he's not within that environment, he cannot function well in a fight, man.
Yeah.
Okay? So to answer your question, men are like that. It is a sign. It is in our biology. It is in our DNA. It is in whichever angle you want to look towards. it's there. And that's what Allah says, that سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْأَفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. We'll show our evidence, our signs, our miracles in the horizon and in themselves. وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. In themselves, the sign. أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Do you not see? So this topic is so important, not because, guys are just trying to get more girls or whatever they say. It's because it is the nature of men to incline towards variety. And in doing so, within the limitations, of course, it improves the quality of the type of man that he is.
Okay, so polygyny, yeah?
Yes.
In layman terms, what does it mean?
So it's basically a man having multiple wives. All right, in Islam, it's multiple wives, not just girlfriends, smash and drive here and there and whatever. We're talking about commitment. You're talking about something that is not just, I just enjoy myself, do my thing, and peace out, right?
Yeah.
Because there's obviously limitations. There's an objective for it. It's about commitment, family, responsibility. It's not only about sex. And the problem is when people have looked at this term or this behavior, it was always linked only to sex. Okay, everything else was swiped out. Everyone's minds turned off. It was just focused on this one thing because the world is so sexualized. That's the only thing we can ever take out of almost any discussion that's linked to this subject.
Yeah. So, what would you say if someone says, "Look, it's a different time now." That time, and I'm talking in the context of a Muslim, Muslim. That time of the Prophet ﷺ, it was a need for it. What would you say now? Why would you do it now?
Well, the time-bound argument is irrelevant because even before the Prophet ﷺ, there was a whole civilization and time and so on.
Yeah.
And polygyny existed. Polygamy or polyandry, where women have multiple partners, this is something that you find in certain isolated cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, then there's some tracks of that in history, but more so in today's world. There's certain tribes in South Africa that do and so on, but it is against a female nature. But we cannot say that, today is a different time, I agree it's a different time, 100%. But so was before, pre-Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a different time. At the time of Prophet Jesus, Jesus, peace be upon him, polygyny was very, very much alive.
Yeah.
At the time of Prophet Moses, polygyny was very much alive. Prophet Solomon had many, many wives.
Yeah.
Okay, and throughout history, it was always there. So you can say, well, this time, that time, you're just going to have this argument it's going to be circular. So I do agree that times are different. However, time doesn't change a person's nature. And you can observe very quickly and easily that no matter what people say, because of the first argument that I made that men are like that, men are going to practice it. You can see this in the non-Muslims, right? They're dating multiple girls. They're still, having different partners. They can't. It's in a man. Now, let's say married people who are committed, supposedly. Still, you have what's called e-polygyny or virtual polygyny. You got pornography. What is pornography? Pornography is a form of polygyny because it offers variety.
Yeah.
So a man is going to say, I have one wife, but he's going to all these sites, checking out different videos. He's not stuck right away on one woman or one performer.
Yeah.
He's going to go to all types of variety of stuff, right? Why? Because in his brain, he wants variety.
Yeah.
Massage parlors, prostitutes, escorts, you name it. These are forms of variety and polygyny. The bottom line, people are going to practice whether they like it or not. They're going to practice lawfully or unlawfully, legally or illegal. You cannot take it out of humanity. It's impossible. So, because God created us this way and we are this way, what happened is that the laws that came from God throughout the time regulated this behavior. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? Behavior is regulated. You cannot tell a man not to be a man. You cannot tell a woman not to be a woman. You regulate their behaviors. So that this time argument that before it was different times, I agree it was different times. Yeah, they used to ride camels and donkeys and stuff like that. Now we're riding Mercedes, 100%. But bottom line is that at that time, a donkey was a donkey, Today, a donkey is a donkey. At the
Exactly.
time a man is a man today. Can't change that.
I mean, you said that this law in Islam, we'll talk about Islam first, has been set out to kind of fulfill certain objectives. What are those objectives, you say?
Well, the objectives of these laws, first and foremost, are the propagation of the message of God.
No.
Right? I mean, you have to understand. And to do so, you have to have numbers.
Yeah.
You have to have, there's so much resource in this world, but the problem is that people, a very small amount of people, take all the resources, and the rest of the people are just, and they don't have strength. You look at colonial powers when they went to Africa, to India.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that they attacked, the Polygyny institution. Language, education, religion, right? Because polygyny means strength. Okay, when a man is able to reproduce with multiple wives, have strong children, a lot of boys, armies, this and that, it caused a problem. People understood this very, very well from early. Okay, so the objective, first objective is numbers and spreading the message of God, having, army, having strength.
So you're saying that if you don't have more than one wife, would that make you weak then? You're weak as a man.
Okay, let me put it this way. I believe that a man's sexuality, his strength and power is expressed through that ability to be with multiple women. I believe it improves a man's performance. And this is clearly studied and documented in research. I believe it improves his expression of sexuality, and his strength allows him to express his masculinity. Because it's not only about sex, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if you manage one person, who's better? A person who manages one person, one employee, or 4 employees?
But bro, you're sounding a little bit misogynistic.
Yes,
and this is what they'll say.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay to take that. I am misogynistic. If you mean that, misogyny means male empowerment, okay, and hatred of modern day women, of what they've become, then I'm all for it, if that's what the definition means. If it means that I hate women, I don't hate women. I love women. Of course I love women. We all do. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, حُبِّبَ إِلَيَّ مِن دُنْيَاكُمْ الطِّيبُ وَالنِّسَاءُ. He said, it's been made beloved to me from this world, women and perfume, right? But my eyes find tranquility in prayer. Of course, man. We're proper. We're men. Of course, we love women. I love women. But the problem is what they've become. If you want to mean misogyny that way, of what a woman has become today, that she's lost herself, that she's more manly than a man, that she's so masculine, she swears, she talks like a roadman, like a gangster, then yes, I'll take that label. The problem is, bro, that a real man, will express the fullness of his masculinity, of his ability to manage, to provide, to protect multiple women. There's no doubt about it. That it only improves his status and his ability as a man. It only makes him great. And his his monogamous behavior is only going to limit him. He becomes, she leaves him and he's like, he's in love and he's heartbreak and he goes and, drinks his head to the ground because she cheated. A man who's polygynous, even if that happens, some woman acts up, he's always got options.
Yeah.
Okay, a man who's polygynous, he's never restricted. He's never held down. Plus, when a man is dealing with only one woman, it means naturally his emotions are going to be connected to that one person, which naturally makes him weak and vulnerable because he's not created in that sense, right? So the male psychology, female psychology are very, very different. A woman needs to be overly in love with the man, and she's created that way. She's usually obsessed with the man, and that's good for her because she is an emotional person, and those type of feelings are emotional. It works well with her. It empowers her, it strengthens her. He becomes her strength. For a man, it doesn't work that way. She actually becomes his weakness because now all his investment, emotional investment, is in one basket. Anything goes wrong, all that investment is not protected anymore. They're in different positions because keep in mind, he has a lot of other stuff to do throughout the day. For a woman, it's pretty much, she connects to a man. That's kind of her objective, to have children, to be in the house. She's connected. It works well, right? So she can have that one investment. Forget about what's going on with women today because why are they so promiscuous, and so it's because they're masculine.
Let me just pause you right there. I need to pause you right there because we have to recap, because these are big bombs, big bars. You know, these are big
Misogynistic
bars, and I don't want it to be like monotone. I want it to, like, we need to dive right in. I want it to be like a flagrant, not to quote other people's podcasts. Yeah, but this is what you said. You're telling me, that a man who's in love with one woman is weak.
Is weak.
A man who can only be with one woman is weak.
100%.
A man who cannot manage a woman or women is weak.
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, don't
Again.
you think? Don't you think that people are going to say, you know what? Look at your religion, man. Your religion is medieval because Christianity promotes monogamous.
No, it doesn't. That's incorrect.
This is what some of them will say, like these Jehovah's. You know, they all say men don't
incorrect.
cheat. I know it's incorrect. Hinduism, you know, they die with their wives.
No.
So, and I know it's I know it's incorrect. So
religion.
tell us the misconception, right, with these religions. Why is it that it's always been around? Islam is not medieval. It's actually the solution to the problem.
Yeah, again, Islam is not a religion, right? It's submission to the will of the Creator. It's a system that's existed throughout life. People get stuck on terminology.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how the world has made it, right? The world has created religions. Why? So people can fight and they can be, us versus them and this and that. Yeah. This is in the psychology of human beings, right? Whenever you compartmentalize people, it's okay. Leicester City versus Manchester, that. People are willing to kill each other, right? Yeah. It's because us versus them. So people have put labels in, right? Islam is not a label. Islam literally is a concept, right? It's very clear when you read through the Quran that it's not an Arabic thing. It's not a brown thing. It's not a white thing. It's not a nothing, right? It's literally a concept of submission to the will of the Creator. Whether you're white, black, Chinese, whatever you are, it doesn't matter. Right? It's a very universal concept that existed from the first man and it will be there till the last man. People came and started labeling, okay, we're Jews, Judaism from Judea, and Hindu from Hindustan or the Hind, and then Taoism and so on. Everyone came with these isms and isms and isms.
Yeah.
But it was done to separate humanity. Right? Humanity is you either follow God or you don't follow God. That's the two options and that's it. Right? So when you look at these accusations, for any person who wants to do a bit of research, they'll go into their own religion and realize the text is against what the people are preaching.
Yeah.
Because people have been changing these rules and laws to suit and fit their own purposes.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at, let's go back to the original question. Leaders of the world, VIPs, as the Quran calls them, al-mala, the elite. You think these people are monogamous?
I highly doubt it.
They're not monogamous, brother. I'll tell you. Okay, let's take it something more relevant that we can all observe.
Yes.
The elite of within our reach, our society. Football players, basketball players, TV stars. And which one is a monogamous, brother? Which one? None of them. Whether they cheat or this or with girls and this and okay, I'm married to one wife. Yeah, but are you practicing polygyny? You are.
All of them, cases come out that there've been some sexual ring.
100%.
This thing with Didi's coming out.
100%.
Even Cristiano Ronaldo, who's like the clean guy, he's had like rape cases around and stuff like that.
Bottom line is, Akhi, that it's just built in the people, in the man. They cannot, right? They're going to do it. They're going to have to do it one way or the other. So a man who restricts himself because of societal factors like that, and he basically puts all his emotions that one woman, and his heart gets broken, he's done, bro. Because he cannot handle the emotions, right? Yeah. Right. His investment has been directed towards one thing. Imagine you put all your money in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin goes down, right? You didn't invest in Ethereum, you didn't invest in other coins, right? Yeah. And it goes down, you're done, bro. Yeah. Right? But when you diversify as a man, it actually makes you stronger. Why? Because now, if something happens with that woman, and there's a high chance it will, you have other backup. Your emotions are split around. So it allows you to not be in a weak state. Look at the men. Look at a study that came in 2020 about heartbreaks, right? Because again, there's a lot of common misconceptions and so-called, how do we call it? I guess, common,
Yeah,
ideas and beliefs, right?
Yeah.
So they always used to say that, well, guys are, they just don't care. They jump from girl to girl and this and that. So the study was looking at who moves on faster from a breakup. And I'm talking here about like people have some commitment. We're talking here again not about just smashing and drive through. We're talking about commitment.
Yeah.
Well, women do. Why? Because women are more emotional. People used to think because women are more emotional, they're weaker.
Yeah.
Not in that point. Because they're more emotional, actually, they're more used to processing emotions. They know how to deal with it. So a girl is going to have a breakup. The first thing she's going to do, she's going to call her girlfriends. Hey, I got a breakup.
Oh my God, you never guess what happened. I'm so dumb.
Right? So what do the girls say? What do the girls say?
Yeah.
He's a loser. Don't worry. Screw him. Let's go party. We got to find something else, right? They validate each other. They're going to help each other,
I'm
right?
going to take you out tonight,
Don't worry.
girl.
Yeah. Okay. If you're going to break up or something will happen, most likely as a guy, you're not going to call me, bro. Because you know what I'm going to tell you. You're an idiot. What'd you do?
You're a waste, man. Bro. Did I not tell you? I not tell you, bro.
Did I not tell you, bro?
Love.
Because we're gonna hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not. So you're gonna take a few
I'm
days.
definitely not calling you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna take a few days. You're gonna take a lot of time.
Yeah.
The problem is though, the depression is gonna set in. The guys turn to alcohol, to weed, to drugs, to this and that, because they have to process something that they're not usually used to. He's rational.
Yeah.
Men are over irrational. That's why when it comes to whatever, fighting, war, strategy, and this and that, we can process that. The girls are like, but we process that because we are overly rational.
Yeah.
And we have emotions, but we're not overly emotional, right? So the guy's going to take his time. He's going to try to process it. He's going to suffer. Yeah. He's going to suffer, okay? So it's wrong to say that guys just like, whatever, move on and this. No. When a guy has emotions, he's in love, he has some connection, he really breaks down, brother.
But don't you think, like, and as you're saying, and I'm playing devil's advocate, obviously, but I just said I got people behind the camera here that I relating to what you're saying. They're laughing. Some of their faces are going red. They've been heartbroken and everything. But we all have, bro. But don't you think it's shallow, And I'm playing devil's advocate. This is shallow. What you're trying to say is, listen, don't love this girl. Have more than one girl. Just in case something happens to her, she breaks her leg, just don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't you think that's a shallow thing to way of looking at life?
No, I don't think it's shallow. I think it's very, very deep because again, it's linked to the psychology of the man and what allows him to function at his best way.
Yeah.
Okay. Men function the best when they control their emotions.
Yeah.
Okay. When a man is not able to control his emotions, he does not function well.
Yeah.
He functions horrible. A man who loses himself, his emotions, he becomes weak, he's soft. He becomes a horrible version of a woman. Okay? And this is what we see around today, right? These are the people who cannot control themselves. These are people who go stab and shoot people and they don't know how to process conflict, They don't know how to deal with things. And they become just, very, very
The weakest people are the most dangerous people.
Yeah, knee-jerk, bro. Very, very dangerous.
Growing up in the streets, we learned that.
Yeah, it's not chill. I think it's very deep because when emotions are regulated and a man is able to split those emotions, he actually becomes a better husband. When a man is just connected to one woman, he's over in love. Actually, we find that even according to the women that I've interviewed, that they start hating this man. They don't like this man. Why? Because again, women, their natural disposition is going to kick in. He's like, oh, baby, I love you, this and that. I'm not saying that you don't love your wife.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't have emotion. I'm saying that falling in love is literally like falling. You're falling.
It was a head over heels.
Right. Loving is controlled. You can love. You can have regulation. When you're in love, like head over heels, the smallest thing about her will bother you. You become a very, like you OCD, man. You're just like, oh, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? You're not able to control yourself.
And it's just like, you're too attached. I can't breathe.
Exactly.
But
when you're processed and you're controlled and you have you've divided your emotions, you know how to deal with her. Bro, she can chit chat and this and that. She's going to cry, but okay, I'm chill. Yeah. She might try to manipulate you. What do women usually manipulate with? With sex.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to give you anything today, blah, blah, blah. No problem. I have other options.
No problem.
I'm not going to get upset. But right now, if it's one-on-one, what happens is people start getting upset. They feel resentful, like it's, also behavioral economics. Wait a second, why am I paying the bills and doing this and I'm not even getting, I have to sleep on the couch?
Yeah.
No. Oh, I'm not feeling it today. Go sleep on the couch. Actually, baby, I'm just going to head over to number 2 or 3 and, you take your stuff, do your thing. And, when you feel better, just, I'll come back, no problem. Yeah. But you see, you're not triggered.
The guys are loving it over there.
Yeah, but you're not triggered, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're not? You start arguing, right? You become head to toe, just fighting. No, I'm just, no problem. If you're not feeling good today, whatever, you're having a issue, give your mom a call, give your sisters a call. I'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. No? Buenos
you know,
dias.
The thing is, it's important to mention this. Gabriel Romaani, for those who don't know Gabriel Romaani, and for those who are listening and watching it for the first time at Sema Podcast, Gabriel runs numerous classes. He does counseling for hundreds of people. So, to speak for my brother, this is not him just waking up one day and being, I'm going to solve this problem. This is the issue, blah, blah, blah. It's not like he's having delusions of grandeur, this is like countless thousands of hours of counseling and speaking to men and women, Muslim and Muslimas, and we have Gabriel here. Yani, subhanAllah, it's an honor to have you here. Now, I want to go back to the men, I want to go back to the men.
Mm-hmm.
Because this thing triggered me, bro. So you're saying that if I have one wife, that makes me a weak man, but I'll go to the gym, man's are lifting 150 kg, I'm best president, that doesn't make me weak. But I love my wife though, this is the thing. What if I'm saying, right, and I'm not talking about me, I'm just saying if those who are listening, and maybe me, I love my wife, bro, there's nothing wrong with that. So you're telling me I'm weak because I love my wife?
Okay, so even the concept of weakness is relative, right?
Yeah.
So don't take it like just as an insult, right? I mean, we have to always admit who we are. We have to self-assess. So it's relative, right? And okay, you love your wife. That's fine. But what if your wife's going to leave you? What if something happens? How are you going to be able to process that, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean, right? Let's say you have, again, practicality as well. Let's say you have children. May Allah protect them. Something happens to your wife. Who's going to take care of those children? Imagine if you have 2-3 other wives. Yeah. You can shift those kids.
What if they say, I want nothing to do with them? Yeah, but they're not my children.
No, but see, that's not right. That's not how it used to be, right? Do you see the sense of egoism? Yeah. No, it should be where you can help each other, right? That there's always advantages in polygyny. Let's say the husband dies. Yeah. 3-4 wives, they can still come together and work together and help each other at that time, right? Maybe they'll get married again, no problem. But the reality is that they can support each other and there's help and it's been done like that.
Isn't
right?
this an ideal world situation?
Look, it's not an ideal world because it's been done before. Yeah. You're talking here about, again, relatively speaking, from the 20th century on, let's say 21st century, versus humanity, bro. The history of humanity. It's always been done. It's only recently, in a very short period of time, relatively speaking to what time has passed us in civilization, it's only now that we find like it's idealistic. It's work. It's been around for a long time. So, but to go back to the issue of weakness, it's about weakness as in relatively speaking. Again, if a manager manages 3-4 people in a company versus a manager who manages 100, 200 people, who is the one that has higher value? Who is the one who gives more salaries, more job opportunities? Whose value is more? Of course, it's going to be the one who manages more people successfully.
People who are listening to this will say, you are misogynistic, there's something wrong with you. How are you going to tell me that you shouldn't fall in love with one woman and then just by mathematics, you're going to have 4 wives or 3 wives? There's more chances of you falling in love with 4 wives than 1 wife. So if you manage to control your feelings with 1 wife and you're a man and you're managing her and so you know what, I'm going to add another wife, I'm going to or complete the sunnah, doesn't that open up more chances for me of falling in love at least with one of them? What about if one of them controls me and I end up divorcing all my other wives?
See, but then again, you're being controlled, and that's not polygyny, because you're just kind of being swung around left and right.
Yeah.
And manipulated. The point is in regulating your emotions, and the more you divide your emotions in different places with certain restrictions and responsibilities,
Yeah.
okay, you'll be able to regulate much better.
And why are we talking about women like they're objects that they need to be managed?
But they're not, though. It's not that they're objects.
Yeah.
But the reality is that, again, it's in their psychology that they need to be managed. They want to be managed. They like to be managed.
How do you know?
Well, because if you look into the female psychology, you find that women don't actually know what they want. No, they don't. They actually don't fully know what and they say that. I've had numerous clients, and I don't make statements from exceptions. I only make statements from proper numbers.
Okay.
Where women will admit it, if they're honest enough, that they don't really truly know what they want.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very difficult for them to know what they want, and that is linked to their hormones, the way their cycle works, and the way they are in terms of their temperament, the way it changes throughout the month.
Yeah.
Okay, they're on a 28-day cycle.
Yeah.
When they ovulate, they're not the same premenstrual. When they menstruate, they're not the same when they ovulate or outside of those stages. Their hormones are a proof and evidence for their nature of being very volatile.
What makes you a specialist? What makes you think that you know about women? You're a man.
Okay. I'm not saying that I'm like the only one, because there's many studies, but so my background's in biology and psychology, neuroscience and cognition. So what we try to study is the cognitive process. How do people think, and how does that affect their behavior, and how does behavior affect their thinking?
Yeah.
Right? So you obviously review many papers, many studies, and so on. And we've learned a lot in the last century, we could say, about two things. And I talked to you about this, right? We learned about women and cats, right? A lot of things we didn't know. There was a lot of misconceptions, right? Like, for example, with cats, we used to think they're, scary cats, and they're little lions packed in a little cute little, fur ball.
Yeah.
But they're insanely powerful. The cat's reaction rate is faster than a snake, man. People used to say, oh, cats are a scary cat. The whole concept. They're not, bro. They'll beat up dogs, man. They'll fight. They'll stand up to cobras.
Yeah.
And it's just recently we've been able to know. Same thing with women. We used to think that women are just this or that. But now we've been able to actually have more access to who they are. Why? Because we have more access to their behavior. And because they've had more freedom, they're able to express a lot more. So we're able to understand, for example, we can track their activities online. Yeah. And we can learn a lot about their sexuality, about what they like, about what they don't, about how they are, and so on. Right? We can track a lot of their choices because of this freedom that they have today, which they probably didn't have before.
Bro, this is crazy. Let me tell you one thing. This is crazy. Let me just stop you right there. Yeah? Like, have you seen the Planet of the Apes?
Yes.
Yeah. The way, and I know you, so I know who you are, alhamdulillah. The way you're referring to women, it's like they're aliens that came, and as men, we're always thinking, we wish we knew what women were thinking.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like we are alien to each other. But the way you're referring to them, it's like they're this being or this alien thing, object that came to this earth, and we've been studying them, and now there's this big reveal.
Okay.
Oh, this is how you deal with them and stuff like that. What would you say if people are listening to be like, what the hell is this guy saying, bro? This is my mother, this is my sister, bro. This is my wife.
To an extent, I think alien in the sense that we didn't know too much, or we didn't pay attention to some of the knowledge that we've had before. So, for example, the concept of female volatility. Okay, it's hard. I want to be careful with the way, how I choose my words. So maybe volatile. Some people call it bipolar, but I'll say volatility. Yeah. No, because it is like, so they say again. I'm not gonna say, but they say
back now.
Yeah, the modern day woman is bipolar, right? Bilingual and bisexual, right? Why is she bipolar? Because she's very unstable in the way, right, her hormones work.
Serious stuff. I don't know why I'm laughing. Serious stuff.
So it's very, and that's the way it is, right? Yeah. So, she'll have her premenstrual, what's called PMS. And it's a very different type of stage. I mean, women will tell you, right? Again, it's women who are honest. I've had the chance of interviewing not hundreds, but thousands of women. Okay, and because I think the work that I do, they have to be honest with me. If not, I cannot help them. Okay. So they'll tell you like, man, just stay away in that time. Right? Like I've been able to solve marriage problems by agreeing between a husband and wife, where the husband says and the wife, they agree. The wife says to him, look, in that period of time, just whatever I say, you don't believe it. If I'm saying this, I'm doing that, whatever, just those 2 days, whatever, just give me that pass. Just don't believe me, right? Just turn your ears off.
Yeah.
And it worked, right? Because like, look, she's like, I can't control myself. It's like, I want to kill someone. I want to like laugh. I want to cry. I want to this. I want to jump. I want to do all kinds of things, right? So that's how they're like the whole bipolar. Yeah. Bilingual is because they'll say stuff, okay? And then 2 minutes they'll be like, but I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
Right? They'll say some very hurtful stuff, right, to a man. And then she'll say, but why'd you listen to me? I didn't really mean it. That's not what I meant.
I wish I never laid eyes to you. You smell.
Get away from me. That's not what I meant, right? Yeah. So, and there's quite a lot of research on there's a study that was done in Canada, in one of the universities. I think it was Montreal. And literally the conclusion is that the study was that what women say and what they feel are two different things. Okay, so there's that contradiction.
100%.
Okay, so that's what we say bilingual. And bisexual, I mean, that's something I can get into it right now. It's just something very apparent these days. Because again,
bipolar,
sexuality is quite fluid with women. You know what I mean? Yeah. What they're attracted. They're not really attracted to a gender. They're more attracted to a construct or a setup. Right?
We're moving on to some different realms now.
Right. So what I'm trying to say, though, what was the question? You lost me there, bro.
No, I said... The way you're referring to them.
Okay, yeah, the alien thing.
It's like they're aliens, like the movie kind of the apes,
right.
you know, like.
So it's not that they're aliens, it's just that they are very, very different.
Yeah.
Okay, they're extremely different. And Allah says in the Quran, وَلَيْسَ ذَكَرُ كَالْأُنثَى. And the man is not like the woman. They're very, very different. We have things that we share, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But when you look at the way we are, and I think this is why the world is so screwed up, is that we don't really truly recognize the nature of women and the nature of men.
Yeah.
We've mixed things up, right? Women have a certain nature and it's beautiful, and they can excel at certain beautiful things, and men have same thing, you know, and we just mix things because we wanted to show that everyone's the same and we have this one, you know, equality and gender. It cannot be equality because we're different. How can two things, a square and a circle, be equal? They're not. It's impossible. And in doing so, we kind of screwed up the world. Our kids are confused. Everyone's confused. You know, we try to prove by putting women into places that they don't belong to that they can do it, and then they mess up. We try to put men in places they don't belong to, and then they mess up.
Just to add on that, I always knew, but I actually comprehended the difference between fairness and equality. And I think many women, and people are going to watch this episode thinking, what the hell's going on here? These guys are just like throwing bombs on females. No, I mean, it's going to get better, inshallah. We're going. So fairness and equality, how it differs. So I was doing a master's, and part of one of the modules, we went to like the Peak District to do trekking, stuff like that, and they gave us these courses, like excursions type of thing, where you do like group bonding type of exercises. Yeah. Now there was this exercise where it was like a spider cobweb, and we had to lift each other up through the different holes, right? So as I was the project manager, man went 140 kg. I had some girls in my team. The way I designed or strategized how we would go one by one is that I will get some of the stronger guys on that side, so that way they can receive whoever we're picking up. Now, the coordinator was one of those feminist women, right? Who I think they're confused, because she asked me, why are you not sending the girls to receive the boys? And I was like, okay, I think you see this is the problem. A quick debate sparked out, and then she ran away. I was like, she weighs maybe 65 kg. So if I throw her on that side, can she receive me who weighs 140 kg? I asked the girl, can you receive me? No, I can't, don't do it. I was like, yeah, fairness is not equality. Yeah. You might think equality is fair, but it's not fair. So if I lift 200 kg and then I'm like, all right, come, you lift 200 kg, It's not fair, is it? So equality and fairness is two different things. That's why in competition, you look at people's weights, individuals' weights, and you apply the competition equally to their weights. So just
why didn't Tyson Fury fight a chick the other day? why does Mike Tyson gonna fight a girl?
Yeah.
Paul, whatever, his cousin or his wife or the other guy's wife.
That famous Serena Williams
Yeah, the
versus
tennis. Why not?
you remember
Why
that
not?
debate?
Why aren't the Olympics mixed?
Yeah.
Right. In the end, bro, we realize. Okay, look at the Marines. The test for the Marines. How many women passed the test? Hell Week. How many people passed? How many women passed Hell Week?
Yeah.
How many? For example, the fire brigade, the police. They had to lower their standards for testings to accommodate women. Why?
Yeah.
We're equal. Why?
Yeah.
Why? It's clear. Why are people messing about? This is not about me being misogynist or you or these brothers or whatever. It's about truth, man. It's about truth. Look at the evidence. Don't be all, crazy. Don't hate. Look at the evidence. Okay? Examine the evidence, then you can judge. Okay, if what we're saying is not evidenced, then you can say, okay, these guys are just sitting here on a podcast and just having their opinions.
Yeah.
But look at the evidence. If you tell me that women can actually score on the original firefighting, fire brigade tests, as well as men, and that those scores and those standards were kept, the original ones, then we have no debate. But the reality is that they've had to always lower them. They had to always make accommodations to make a point that, yeah, women are also doing. Yes, there's going to be some exceptions. Yes, there's going to be some woman who's going to pass. But I'm talking about here the default.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how it is. So with fairness and equality and so on, I mean, imagine if you get a bunch of boys and girls, different ages. Equality would mean you get them all, kicks or whatever you call them, shoes.
Yeah.
They're all size
Trainers.
7.
Yeah.
Trainers, size 7, all white. That's equality. Fairness is each one of them gets their foot measured and they get the one that fits them the best. They can work in it the best and, perform the best. This is it. This is the difference. You know what I mean?
And I'm gonna change my tone now because I was playing devil's advocate. I do agree with you in many things that you said. Now, I want to change the tone. So, the thing about I think a lot about this, the polygyny stuff. Yeah, having multiple wives as Muslims, and I've thought about it in depth. Why I wanted to speak about it, and I've comparing. And contrasting the Sharia in Islam of fasting, of Sawm, When we are ordered to fast as one of the pillars of Islam, we are ordered with conditions, right? As you know. And there are, correct me if I'm wrong, I think 4 or 5 conditions for a person to fast. He's of age, or he or she is of age. They're able to fast. There's nothing impeding on their fasting. They are sane, of sane age again, and I can't remember the last one. But there are conditions. Now, if you look at when Ramadan comes around, everyone hastens towards fasting. Oh yeah, the last one was if they're traveling, if they're still and they're not traveling, right? And there are solutions or how to. What's the word I'm thinking of? If you can't fast, how to what's the word? Help me out here.
How to
when you travel and you don't fast.
Oh yeah, how to make it up.
How to make it up. I was trying to look for some technical word.
Yeah.
But yeah, how to make up the fast. Yeah. So we're told this is how you fast. If you can't, you don't have to fast, but this is how you make it up. And part of making it up, feed a person every day. Make up that fast that you didn't. And, there are many solutions.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we analyze the ayah, and help me out with the ayah, Surah An-Nisa on marrying 2, 3, 4, and you cannot be just marry.
وَلَنْ تَعْدِلُوا فَوَاحِدَةً وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ.
No.
So if you cannot be just, then marry one. Okay.
Okay, so my point is, right, the way I've analyzed it is that we have been ordered to marry 2.
It starts by 2, yes.
Yeah, we've been ordered to marry 2. When we're ordered to marry, We wasn't just told marry.
Yes.
Marry who you like, marry 2, 3, or 4. If you fear that you cannot be just, you marry 1.
Okay.
So this is the same. If you look at and you correct me, of course. If you look at the ayah of Siam, this is the same. Fast, but these are the conditions. But all of us hasten to make those conditions so we can fast. Why does it differ to polygamy then? Is that we've only done the one. It's like that is the primal goal is only one. But if you look at the Quran, that's not the primal goal. The primal goal was 2, 3, or 4. Now the making up, when you have to make up the fast, and of course, correct me again, the making up the fast is the one. Because we cannot do the 4. So we're doing 1. So now we couldn't fast, basically. We couldn't fast.
Interesting analogy.
So now we are feeding the poor and we're making up the fast that we missed.
Okay.
Please help me out. Am I correct or wrong?
Interesting analogy. Let's go back to the right. And I know this is controversial, but then again, I think we're trying to be academic and understanding. We're mature, and I think people should understand. When it looks at the ayah, see, it doesn't invalidate polygyny, because the modern day modernist Muslims will try to use that and say, see, it says if you cannot be fair, therefore 1, right? So you stick to 1, that's it. And you find a lot of the imams, a lot of the religious leaders are always preaching that.
Yeah.
Right? The easy way out, if women are happy. And so even though they're not happy, it's funny because I had a client last week, and she's in a polygyny, right? She's a 3rd wife or something. And she's upset and this, and I was like, I said, why are you upset? I said, I mean, if you're not happy, I guess whatever, if you could leave, right? And she's like, yeah, but I'm really more attracted to guys who have multiple wives. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, and she's like, no, she said first, I know it's gonna sound bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say it. And I'm like, don't worry, I've heard it all.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I'm really attracted to guys who have multiple wives, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm like, I know that. I know that women find value in men who have more than multiple wives, okay? So going back to the ayah, I know it's controversial, but the ayah says 2, so it starts by 2, so the people, the Mufassirin said that that's the default, okay? That shows the nature of a man. That 1 is the exception, okay?
Exactly.
So 2, 3, or 4. O ma malakat ayman. What does this mean? So these were basically what are called bond women.
Yeah.
So you see, why? Because there's less responsibility there. So if a man is really not able to have marriage, he still has a commitment, okay, to bond women. And bond women were usually basically due to prisoners of war. And so you wouldn't put women in like jail, right? Like let them rot there, like whatever they would do, like they do in these, they become lesbians and all that, right? As they do in these jails here, right? They basically would be taken care. They'll be part of a man's household, and he would be able to have conjugal relations with them.
Yeah.
Right? They would get fed and taken care of and all that, right? But they wouldn't be at the level of a wife.
Yes.
Yet they're still connected to them, and there's a responsibility, right? So that's clear. It's existed in the Sharia, or the laws of Jesus, and the laws of Moses, and the laws of all the prophets, okay? Mm-hmm. Solomon had hundreds, by the way, okay?
Yes.
Now, I know this is everything sexualized and so on, but again, you're talking about, times of war. You're talking about what do you do with prisoners of war. You're talking about what do you do with this and that. So these were solutions. So the man would basically take the women, and they were able to be intimate with them.
Yeah.
Again, it is within confinements, within restrictions. There's obligations. It's not just like right? So you see, even there, polygyny is upheld. Why? Because a man's nature is upheld.
Yeah.
Right. So the default is that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of justice and adala, then again, I would say the definition of justice and fairness has to be looked at. People think that it's their definition. They think they know what it means to be just.
Yeah.
You don't know what it means to be just. You have to examine what the Prophet ﷺ did, how the Sahaba did, what was the standard at that time, and then we can see what justice means. Bottom line, we're not going to go right now into what justice means and fairness, because that's one of the things they use to like try to invalidate okay, the concept of polygyny. You cannot do it. You cannot do it.
Yeah.
You cannot do it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that, still the nature of the man is that he is polygynous, because oh mamalakat ayman, the ayah doesn't end there, only one. No, it says or what the right hand possessed, the bondsman.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
Slave.
which shows again the man's nature, that he will still have access to multiple women. Responsibility, of course, is there. Protection, he still has to give all those rights, right? It's not like he's just smashing and leaving,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Again, this has to be made very clear, because a lot of people are going to misunderstand.
Yeah.
Right? People are saying, oh, it's not fair, it's not available anymore, it's not this, not that. We're not going to get into the argument. The bottom, what we're trying to prove here is that man's nature is like that.
Yeah, and you can't fight against nature, because many men in this day and age will be like, man, can't be done. I'm never going to talk about that. I don't even want to upset my wife, blah, blah. Yeah, you don't want to talk about it, but then you're in the massage parlor, Or
you're on Pornhub.
You're in pornography, you're watching pornography
100%.
and things like that. Why? Because Allah has installed
in you, yes,
this thing in you,
yes,
these feelings, these urges.
Yeah, this is the operating system, man.
He wants you to be responsible.
Responsible, yes.
And women may look at this and think, all men want to do is just fill their stomachs. But okay, let's look at maths and statistics. We've spoken so many times, different countries. People tend to think, because we're living in the Western world and we're having this conversation here in the Western world, people think the world is only the Western world.
The West, that's right.
Yeah, but if you travel the world, for every one man, now there's almost 8 women.
Yes.
What's going to happen to them?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Who's going to look after them? Like, who doesn't want a free ride? Everyone wants a free ride. Everyone wants to smash and leave.
That's right.
And a man, and I'm not trying to be arrogant, but anyone can manipulate anyone, really, if they decide to. I can manipulate someone, you can manipulate someone. I get what I want, I'm bounced. But alhamdulillah, because we are Muslims and we want to be bound by the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we want to be responsible. So when women hear this, they should know that we want to get married, which is one of the most hardest things to do, and be accountable. And it's not just a sexual thing, because whoever's married knows that sex is not everything. It actually goes pretty quickly. Yeah. And part of your counseling is bringing back the fire. And
right.
you of course.
And this is a very good point here. Yeah. In reality, bringing back the fire, a man who's polygynous, who has multiple wives, is going to be a better performer when it comes to intimacy.
Yeah.
And in the end, women care about performance. They care about quality. Men care mostly about quantity, because it's not that difficult to satisfy a man. Some guys. But in general, as long as the woman looks good, everything is good, guys are pretty easy. It's the women that are more complicated, right?
Yeah.
When a man has that knowledge and experience, the variety. Actually, people go into polygyny, the women will report that their sexual life improves.
Yeah.
Because there's something called the Coolidge effect, right? And basically what it is, that when a man is with one woman, yes, his libido is going to slowly go down, his interest is going to go down.
Yeah.
It peaks after again, it goes up and down, right? A man could have intimacy once, twice maybe with a woman a day. But if a new woman comes around, all of a sudden his libido is back up.
Yeah.
It's something. It won't be up by the woman that he's used to, but it will be up to the novelty effect of that woman. And I would argue that polygyny, and this is where we're going to twist it on the sister side, on the women's side, I would argue that polygyny is actually good for women. And it's actually something that women are willing and can tolerate. It's just that the problem is that today there's so much masculine energy in them that they have expressed masculine jealousy.
Yeah.
There was a study out of Germany, I think 2020, where they're looking and studying female sexuality and female hypersexuality.
Yeah.
And literally the research says that the female sexual patterns reflect male sexual patterns in terms of expressing sexuality, right? With the exception, and that's why I mentioned the extra bisexuality, with the exception that all hypersexual males studied were heterosexual, and all hypersexual women studied who were masturbating, engaged in promiscuity and so on, were bisexual.
Wow.
All of them. Okay.
Wow.
That was the difference. The males were heterosexual.
Yeah.
The women were bisexual.
Let's pause right there because I want to talk more about that.
Wait.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
I want to continue my point.
Let's go.
So what I'm saying is that it is in the female nature, if she holds on to that nature, right? Her jealousy right now, that no, I want my man, is shown even in the social media. As I told you today, girls will be like, no, he's my man. I don't want any girl to see him. Cover their faces. What? This is what guys behave. They protect their women. Now it's the reverse. The guys, something that's an interesting phenomenon. The concept of being a cuckold. Bro, they don't exist, man. The men are, find pleasure, enjoy seeing their women with other men. A'udhu billah. That's crazy, man. Why? It's because there's a polarity reversal in energy. Guys are becoming more feminine.
Yeah.
Right? Women, astaghfirullah, pagan men. A'udhu billah. It's what Freud called, penis envy.
Yeah.
Right? That they strap and they reverse the role. A'udhu billah.
Waste man like Freud.
And it's just insane.
Yeah.
Right? But what is it? It's an evidence of them becoming more masculine, taking that role of dominance, and men becoming more submissive. I get questions over and over again. Oh, I would like my wife to dominate me and this and this. Am I okay? I'm
no, you're not.
Not really, bro. You got a problem.
No, you're not, bro.
Yeah. Next thing, don't allow her to tie you, bro, because you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Bro.
So these kind of things we're noticing. So that jealousy is usually an expression of masculinity. Now, I'm not saying women don't have jealousy, but bottom line is that it's in the nature of a woman to be attracted to a man who has access to more women. What's the evidence for that? Very simple. Rock stars, movie stars. Women fall in love and they're attracted to what they represent, the concept, right? A woman, look at Chris Brown. Okay, how many women are willing to do anything to be his 100th or 1,000th woman, right? Why? Because he's got access to so many. Because so many women want him.
Yeah.
Even though he's beat women, he's got in court cases. Women. I sometimes study the responses in the comments. Yeah. How many women were saying, "I don't mind if he beats me. As long as it's him, I'll take a freaking ticket to be in line for him to beat me." Or to spit in my face or something. I was analyzing the comments ridiculous, disgusting. Sorry, bro, sick. You wouldn't be like a guy, I want to take a ticket to a woman to spit in my mouth, something like that. What?
Yeah.
A guy, no matter how, we have a limit. There's a limit because part of masculinity is that limit.
Yeah.
That discipline. Even if we're messed up, even if we're whatever, a man will have a damn limit. Okay? And that's the problem. So it's in women. I'll give you another example. Forget about this, superstars. Sorry, bro, we don't go to concerts right?
Yeah.
The girls go I don't know. Back in my days, you would see these concerts of Michael Jackson. They're fainting, bro. Ambulance is coming and taking him just because of, who they Elvis Presley. And I don't think men have ever in big masses.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, Taylor Swift, they'll probably be looking at them I'm thinking of a few things, right? But nothing more than that. They won't be jumping on the floor.
In fact, I used to know a few men who would go concerts just so they can pick up girls.
But that's what it is, right? But they will not go overly crazy, super hyper stimulated by who this man or what he represents. And the fact that other women are doing it, it increases their desire for the man. I'll give you just a quick example that anyone will relate to. If you walk in a room, okay, and you see a woman surrounded by 10 men, and everyone's trying to chat her up, what you gonna think?
As a man?
Yeah.
I'll be like, yo, who's my man here, bruv?
Huh?
I'll be like, who's this guy?
No, you're a man.
I'm a man, and I'm seeing another man.
No, you walk in a room.
Yeah.
And you're seeing a woman with 10 guys around her.
Oh,
what do you think about that woman?
I'll be like, I'll turn away. What the hell?
Yeah. Okay. If a woman walks in a room and sees you surrounded by 10 women,
it's like a
she's
magnet.
Gonna go right there, bro.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like, who is this guy? What's going on there?
Yeah.
I want in.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, something.
Yeah.
Move. Women move. I'm gonna use the word women. Move.
There's no really jealousy there.
That, bro, it's whatever they want to say, as much as they want to fight it, because they don't want to be honest with itself. In the end, what they react to, what turns them on, what gets them going is most of the time is not what they verbalize.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. A woman will say something like, on the street, she'll be like, how dare you speak to me like that, right?
Yeah.
But then when you get private with her, she wants you to speak to her like that because that's what gets her going. You know what I mean? And if you don't speak like that, she's going to complain to the counselor. My husband doesn't talk during intimacy. He doesn't want to call me all these names, you know, and this and that. And I'm like, wait a second. So outside of that setting, you don't want to be called the B word and this and that. In that setting, that's all you want to get called.
That was a big thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Men, come on, bro. If you're going to call me that word, we're going to have a problem.
It's
In the bedroom, outside, bro. Come on, you know.
It's happening.
It's not, it's just not happening. We're just so different, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is what I wanted to say, because I knew you was gonna go here. What I wanted to say is, when you mentioned about women, your creator, Allah, who created you, man and woman, you think he'll put a sharia that's detrimental to your life?
Yeah.
Your creator, who you worship, so I'm talking to Muslim women, yeah? Your creator, who you worship, who you pray 5 times a day for. 2, would you think that he will forsake you, let's say, or he'll put a sharia something,
No.
a condition
Against you,
that's going to be against your life?
No
way. So why do you think that this polygamy thing, you're so against it? It's not for me. It has nothing to do with me. And you're right. The points that you're making, like even when we were in school, if one girl used to fancy me, I would get 5. They come as packages.
They'll come to you, bro. Yeah.
You know,
100%.
they come as they're never jealous with each other.
100%.
But if no girl fancies you in school when we're really young, no girl's gonna look at you.
No,
and this is your point. So when you were saying, "Oh, I'm being triggered," you know, I was trying to play devil's advocate as, "Oh, I'm weak." The point is, you mentioned Chris Brown, you mentioned Michael Jackson. These are, in all intensive purposes, they are strong men. Because
Michael Jackson.
Michael, yeah, but
still, even it's weird
not
that still women were
not physically, maybe, but
what he represented.
He was a strong man. He was rich. He was a
Very rich,
performer.
100%.
He was a pop star.
100%.
He was respected. He moves people. This is a notion of, let's say, strength. Let's look at, let's mention his name, Andrew Tate, right?
Yeah.
Misogynist. So many women, even if you look at the comments, love him to death.
Yeah, there was a recent research in Italy. I think 2,000 women. You know, they said he's the sexiest man alive. Why? He's talking about women, this, that, be that, da.
Yeah.
How come they like him? What's and why do they say that they don't? You know, it's a contradiction.
Yeah,
it's a contradiction because, you know, women. I mean, the problem is that they're confused. They're living in this confused state right now. Society has pressured them, has changed them. They're confused. They have these feelings and emotions, yet they don't want to admit them. So they have to stay in line with the societal standard of them being strong and, you know, being independent and whatnot. So they're in this confusion.
But isn't it our fault though, as men?
Well, as I say always, yeah, I think, see, because we men ourselves have become weak, and we allowed things to happen, as the leaders, as the ones who are supposed to run things. Yeah, it is to an extent our fault, you know.
So what would you
allowed
say?
It to happen.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. What would you say to a weak man, from the examples that we're talking about, a man who can only have one wife, or who's trying to get married, who can only have one wife? What would you say? And we're wrapping this up. How would they prep themselves? What is their solution to becoming this strong man who can manage multiple households, who can have businesses and so on and so forth?
Okay.
What is their solution?
So it's a twofold thing. Number one, obviously, when a man wants to get a woman, he usually tries to impress her, tries to do stuff for her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say work on yourself.
Yeah.
Build value in yourself. Do things for yourself. That's when women will come to you.
Yeah.
When you have those masculine things to offer, such as provision, protection, and so on, right? Of course, women. I'm telling you, I've had women saying, I'd rather share a man. She said, not with 10 women.
Yeah.
Who's strong and can do these things, than take one guy who's weak and just whatever. You know what I mean? So work on yourself. That's number one. Number two is they cannot do it by themselves. The thing is, because polygyny was part and parcel of a culture, a civilization, a society, everyone's fighting it now. We, the Muslims, are fighting it, bro.
Yeah.
We're the first ones to fight it, right? It cannot. Everyone's against you.
Yeah.
Everyone's against you. However, it's not going to stop.
Yeah.
Right? The problem is, because they're fighting it, no one's helping. So, for example, my solution would be, okay, community leaders, imams, and stuff, teach.
Yeah.
Teach polygyny properly. Teach people. Have courses at the mosque. Create joint ventures to facilitate polygyny.
Yeah.
Help with taxes. Help with different benefits.
Yeah.
Help with, as opposed to helping, So guys got like 10 different girls, or impregnated 5 different girls, right? And then they're all getting whatever. But like, bro, make it as a marriage. Keep the families together.
Yeah.
Facilitate, teach, educate people. If you say men do not do it properly, educate men how to do it properly.
Yeah.
Educate what is justice. Educate what should be done and how it should be done.
Yeah.
So that it works properly, as opposed to fighting it. Because guess what? In the end, men are still going to do it. They're not going to stop it.
Same, I'm Yomba.
Yomba.
And this is a saying, I should have it on my t-shirt here. I wish we had more time, because every time I have a guest, when we get into the deep sense of things, when we get into it, time is finishing.
We'll do a part 2,
inshallah. We'll do the part 2 of a part 2. And guys, we had more to talk about, but because of production and things of that nature, always we run out of time. I wanted to get into, with the brother, this gender fluidity with women, why we talk about women, the solution of women, what is our beef with women. As I said, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, they're the pillars, the foundations of our household.
100%.
And the Western world, the world that are atheists, the world that are secular, they are destroying them, and if they destroy them, they destroy the whole 100%. Of humanity.
100%.
And we know that the Quran, the solutions are in the Quran, right? So guys, if you want to know more about Gabriel's courses, you can find it linked to this podcast video on YouTube. Also, I would link all his Instagrams. Yomba, Jazakumullah khairan.
Bismillah.
Thanks again for coming, Yomba.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, bro. Yeah. Did that get in? Yeah.